Gordon.
Andy Jones-Wilkins. Chris, how you doing?
I am doing great, and we are going to start our interview slate here hot and heavy and fast and furious with somebody who was out here last year and had a hell of a race. Let's not sell it short. You didn't come away with a golden ticket, but man, you were definitely at the forefront of the race all day long. Dan Green, welcome.
Thanks.
Dan, you ran a blistering time here. 13:18:18 is one of the fastest 6 or 7 times in this race's history. Was that the race that you were hoping and expecting to have, or was that not what you were looking for?
No, I couldn't be any happier with that. That was exactly what I mean, maybe not the exact result, but time I couldn't be angry with. You obviously always want to get a golden ticket, but couldn't be angry with the time, so it went as good as it could have gone, I think.
How's this year's build-up gone for you?
Good, I think.
Yeah?
We're a little stronger, a little faster maybe, so.
What's your race calendar been like so far in 2024?
I went back to Black Canyon, which would be my 3rd time there. Kind of progressively got worse there, so did go to Black Canyon. Wasn't a great day. Very stacked situation there. And then I ran a local 100K in September.
Hurricane?
And I did a 40-miler in West Virginia as well before that, too.
Hurricane 100K?
Correct.
And must have been Highland Sky.
Highland Sky.
Right on.
For sure.
So I am an old Virginian, not
Yes.
West Virginian, but a Virginian. And I like to think of West Virginia as about as western an eastern state can be.
Okay.
Where do you train?
I like that.
Where do you train? I mean, I think you've done some rim to rivers.
So yeah, I've done rim to river twice, and that's been great. But I mean, training-wise, just mostly in Huntington. I live in Huntington. It's like a city, a small city. And I do most of my training there, and we have a little tiny city park near us if I want to run trails. But that's basically it. Time restraints, I can't really drive to Fayetteville all the time. It's like almost 2 hours away, so it's kind of like not really in the cards to go up there and do any
Or
training.
getting up to, you can't really get up to the Canaan Valley or that easily.
Wouldn't be time, wouldn't allow it.
Yeah. It's pretty technical out there too, so something like this is super smooth compared to the East Coast NAR.
Yeah, compared to like Highland Sky, this is a lot more buffed out.
Yeah.
Well, this race is unique in the fact that like half of the course, as you're heading out to Jackass Junction, is a little bit bumpier and chunkier. Not like extreme or anything like that, but when you're coming back down, from Jackass Junction, that's that steady sloping downhill.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself almost having to maybe put some governors on yourself when you're coming down that back stretch, because it is a super fast area to run?
Definitely the first 2 loops, sure. There's that little section, like you're saying, that's maybe a little bit more technical than the rest.
Mm-hmm.
That's conveniently where the hills and downhill parts are, too, I feel like. So, yeah, you put the brakes on a little, but I don't think we'll probably have that luxury this year, so maybe no brakes. We'll take what we can get. If we get a little extra downhill, we'll take it.
Right on.
So were there any moments during last year's race where you found yourself maybe with the lead pack where you kind of were trying to, I guess, navigate where you should be? Or were you able to run your own race, or were you kind of being pulled or pushed along by those around you? How did that race work for you last year?
Yeah, I guess, for everyone around, I definitely ran how I wanted to run, not knowing, not having been here and not running that often with that many good runners, that level of runner. I just wanted to stay connected to the front, which I was kind of able to do for the majority of the race. I mean, there was still some guys out pretty far ahead, but I still was in a ticket spot, I guess, towards past the middle. So I was like, that's good. So that's kind of where I wanted to be. I definitely ran, I'd say, my own race for that too.
So it was along with Black Canyon, one of your first experiences, or maybe most sort of intense experiences of pack running.
Yeah, it was less of a pack here than it would be at Black Canyon.
Well, yeah.
At least for that first 20 miles of Black Canyon. But just being in contention that long into a race, which a 100-miler is a little better for me than a 100K. So I was able to stay in the race, so to speak, longer, which was good.
Is that part of the motivation too with the golden ticket thing, right? Now Javelina is the only domestic 100-miler that's a golden ticket, right?
Yeah.
And so it does draw people such as yourself who are more 100-mile specialists
Yeah.
versus though, you're a fast runner, but you run out of real estate in 100K where you might,
Yeah.
really be able to turn on the jets at loop 4 and loop 5 here and make it a game. Is that part of the motivation to come out here each year?
Definitely. I love the 100-mile distance. This is suited to me just because it's not as technical. Don't get a lot of time on trail, so it's good that way. And yeah, just 100 miles, a lot more comfortable pace for me. And I still feel like I have something at the end that I can use. Where in 100K, it's especially kept going back to Black Canyon like like an idiot maybe, but it was too fast in the beginning for me to run fast in the end. So
Yeah.
this is a lot better.
Yeah, Black Canyon is a very unique race in the fact that the first 20 miles will lull you into a false sense of security. By the time you get down to Bumblebee Ranch, you've probably been running like a 6:15, 6:20
I didn't feel
pace.
secure at all.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I was like, I know how this is going to end.
Because I've seen you, I've
Well, you
seen
have
your
no
times at
choice.
races like Stroll and Jim, and I know you've got that foot speed.
But if you want to, it's like I definitely knew I was not in a good spot. But to do well there, you have to do that. At least this year you had to do that. Maybe the year prior you could have had a comeback or something, but no one was slowing down at all. So you had to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the front of that race's pack generally just
It was nuts.
goes and doesn't stop for sure.
Well, and I think you're right. There might not be any putting on the brakes this year here at Javelina.
I hope not.
Have you guys had a decently warm summer in West Virginia? So that's kind of this is a much drier heat than you have out there, but you think you're going to be okay with what'll be kind of a little bit higher than normal temperatures?
Yeah, I think I'll be fine with that.
Yeah.
It's really humid out there, and it was hot. It wasn't super hot like this would be, and there's not as much exposure, but it's really humid, and I like to think I'm pretty good in the heat. So
yeah.
I think sometimes it's just staying calm when you're really hot and uncomfortable goes a long way. Like if you don't feel like you're trapped, you'll be good.
So you don't think you'll deviate from your strategy based on unusually high temperatures?
Ice, water, salt, baby.
Yeah.
So you having come out here last year, what is your crew pacer situation, and were those the same people that were out here with you last year? Did they gain that experience perhaps?
So yeah, I only have one. My girlfriend's coming back. She had come here last year with me to help crew, and then as far as that's concerned, it'll all be new people. But just my buddy Alex, that great runner himself, and then he'll pace me the last 2 loops, which I had a pacer for just the last loop last year. My brother, which doesn't run a lot, but he's really talented runner, so he stayed with me until about 15 miles and then dropped.
I was going to ask you said he doesn't run very well.
Yeah.
You were hauling.
He dropped, but he was doing good. He rides his bike a lot, but he can run still too. But I'll have a pacer for 40 miles instead of just 15 on the end, which would be beneficial. I think last year I got passed like I was walking by Blake and his pacer. And
he flew in that last.
I was like, oh, there you go.
So strong last year, so there's no
I was
shame in
alone,
that.
just crawling. I was like, man, this would be nice to have a pacer. But, sometimes that doesn't make a difference either. So it was just cool. But to have a pacer, and then my mother's out here too. And then my buddy and past coach, Caleb, will be out here. He's running it. Caleb Bowen's running it. And our another mutual friend, Logan's pacing him. So we're all kind of together in one
So
group.
you were a Marshall.
Yes.
You were a Marshall student, and Caleb was your coach.
Correct.
Yeah. So full disclosure, my little hope and dream for Western States is for both of you guys to get your tickets. Double West Virginia at
good.
Javelina.
No one would see that coming. Yeah.
I had
We'd be
Caleb on my podcast after he got his ticket at Grindstone, I think.
Correct.
Yeah. And what an awesome dude. And he's going to be visiting with us a little bit later this
And
afternoon.
actually, I'll ask you the same thing I was going to ask him. Who's going to win the Battle of Huntington, West Virginia runners here at Javelina 100 2024?
We'll see how it goes.
Right on.
It'd be nice if we just run together the whole time.
Yeah, especially if you're leading.
Yes.
Exactly. The Mountain State.
Yeah.
The Mountain State duo.
I mean, hey.
We could get a lot of marketing mileage out of that. Last
We're here.
question from me, personal question, I suppose.
Let's hear it.
You talked a little bit about your time juggle. You have a job and a life outside of running?
Yeah. So I work full time at a local running shop. Me and my buddy pacing me help manage it, but I work there, 40 hours a week or whatever, and run either side, and that's what we do.
And quick shout out, what's the name of the running
Robert's
store?
Running Shop.
Robert's Running Shop
local.
in Huntington?
Huntington, West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia. Great little shop.
Got a whole, so you got all your gear, you got all your gear from your homegrown shop?
Not all of it.
Not all.
We service a lot of just regular folks getting shoes and
Yeah.
walkers and things, so we don't have a ton of gear, but Some of it, yeah, sure.
Right on.
So,
right on.
Dan, my last question. Your time last year was the 9th fastest all time in Javelina 100 history, which is a race that's 22 years old. So that's actually pretty rarefied air.
We'll take it.
Do you think you can improve upon that? Because let's be honest, you're probably going to have to if you want to see yourself in the golden ticket chase.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I hope to go definitely a lot faster this
Sub
year.
13, we talking?
Oh, yeah. I don't think you have a choice. I think you have to go sub 13.
Well, we did talk on
sure.
our preview show with Free Trail that it was probably going to be in the 12:30 to 12:45 range potentially. At least that might be what you have to look at. So
Yeah.
hopefully at least that's in your periphery somewhere.
I don't want to go 12:30, but 12:40s would be nice.
Yeah.
I'll
That's
take
awesome.
that. It's going to be hot, dude.
It is going to be
very
hot.
hot.
And
So-
I think it's safe to say that everybody who starts is not necessarily going to finish.
Unfortunately.
Gonna be one
Could
of those
me.
years.
Could be someone else.
Well, hopefully things go the way you plan. Dan,
Yeah.
best of luck. Thanks for joining us here.
Yeah, thanks.
Best of luck, Dan. Thanks
Thanks
a lot
for
for
having
coming
me,
on.
guys.
Right on.
All right.
Have a great day out there tomorrow.
We'll be back very shortly with our next interview here at Javelina 100, presented by Hoka and Air Viper Running.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks
a lot.
for coming in.
Have a great day tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
Scotty.